Hi everyone, it's Julie from Sparklettes Art, and today I'm here to teach you how to draw this beautiful fairy. So our August issue of the Glitter Bomb is out, and it's about UK and Irish myths and legends, and so that means fairies. And I have this beautiful book here, The Flower Fairies Treasury, and I was looking at all of these beautiful wings, and some people like to draw fairy wings like little balls or little tiny ovals, and some people love to draw fairies with their wings like butterflies. So if you look through this book, you can see that this particular illustrator loved to have these beautiful butterfly shaped wings, and so that's what we're going to be drawing today. You see how she's got the butterfly wings? And all you're going to need is a black marker or crayon, and you can see that all I used were crayons. Now I chose to use some glitter crayons, so it has a little bit of sparkle to it, and you might choose that too. In fact, this is the box of crayons that I'm going to be using. They're neon, but there's some neon glitter ones in here too. And then you're also, depending on what crayons you have, you're going to want a skin tone because we're drawing a figure today, and whatever color hair you're going to want your fairy to have. But that's it. So we're going to work on this fairy, and we're also going to work on practicing something called Here, Near, and Far with our toadstools, and then you can decorate the background however you want and color it however you want. So go ahead and grab a piece of white paper. I'm going to move my picture off to the side, and go ahead and grab your black marker or crayon. And we're going to start with the fairy's face. So right around the center of the paper, but a little bit up, I'm going to draw what looks like a letter J. Just like that. That's her face. That's it. And the next thing I'm going to draw is her arm. And the way I'm going to start her arm, and this is to make sure that all of the pieces of my fairy go in the same direction, and that they're proportional. That means that her face is not smaller than her arm. And we're going to, right under the chin, we're going to draw a little tiny rainbow line, and that is for the top of her arm. Draw 2 lines down for the first part of her arm. That's her forearm, for her shoulder to her elbow. And on this one side, we're going to curve it around for her elbow. We're going to continue the lower part of her arm, and then we can draw either a circle or you can do a lump that curves around for her hand, because she's holding something. She's going to be holding a magic wand. So that's it for her arm. Now we're going to go back up, and we're going to work on her hair, and then we're going to work on her body. So you can decide what kind of hair you want your fairy to have. I'm going to show you a really simple one. Right at the top of the J, you're going to do a curved line. Those are for her bangs. And then almost like a pointy oval for the top of her hair. Now her back is going to be a little bit to the left of her arm. So we can kind of draw her hair, and my fairy's going to have long hair, and that gives me an idea of where the hair is going to go, but we're not going to connect it to her back until we draw the back side of her. Now we're going to actually come down, and we're going to connect her neck to her arm, her shoulder, and we're going to do her, the other side of her hair right here. So this is her face, and we're going to do the other side of her hair. It's going to connect to her shoulder. So now we have the face, we have the hair. We're going to draw the back like I just said. I had forgotten about this part of the hair, but now that's connected, we can come down and do the back. So the back is a curved line, and I'm going to show you what we're going to draw. So this line is going to come down for her back and then come out for her beautiful dress. So from her shoulder, we're going to draw a line coming down. It's going to come in, and then it's going to flare out for her beautiful dress. And you can make your dress as big or as little as you want. At the elbow, we're going to move slightly over, and we're going to come down and finish this part of the dress. And you notice how my lines aren't straight? That's okay, because her dress is kind of maybe flowing in the breeze. And now we can connect her hair to her dress, just like that. We're gonna finish by doing her feet, and we're gonna draw 2 straight lines down and a foot, and then 2 straight lines down and another foot. And she kind of needs an eye, doesn't she? So we're gonna make her really happy and give her a little line here and a little smile. Make it nice and simple. She is holding a magic wand. We're gonna turn her into a fairy now. Are you ready? So she's holding a wand. Gonna be a straight line that stops, and it's gonna, a little bit of it pokes out of her hand there. Now you can decide what kind of magic wand you want it to be. So in this one, I chose a star, but you might choose a moon, or you might choose a different shape that you want her wand to look like. But if we want to do a star, we want to put it at the top. So we want to do an upside down V, point on that side, point on the other side, finish our star, and then we can just connect the wand to it. So she's got a really big magic wand, or you might choose to have her holding something else, right? And now we're going to add her wings. Now her wings, remember we talked about butterfly wings? So they're going to point at the very top. So her wings are hidden a little bit by her hair. So we're going to start her wing on the other side of her hair. We're going to go up in a point, and then it's going to wave down and come right underneath her hair. Now your wing might look different. You see this wing has a few more bumps. This wing only has 1 bump. So your wing might not look exactly like mine, and that's okay. We're gonna add the bottom part of the wing. Instead of starting here where it touches her back, we're gonna start the bottom part of the wing halfway at the bottom of this first part of the wing by drawing a curved line down, and then we're going to connect that part to the back. So there's her first wing, but we know that she's going to have butterfly wings. That means she's got another wing hiding behind that one. So at the middle of the first wing, the top here, we're going to draw a line coming up for the other point, and it's going to come right into her hair. So that's the top wing, but the other top wing, and it's hiding. And we want to do something similar with the bottom part, but we're going to this time come below it. We're going to do a small curved line down and connect it into her dress. So you can decide what kind of fairy landscape you want. So you might choose not to do the toadstools. You might have her flying through the air doing something else, but I'm going to show you how to do some easy toadstools. And you notice how my toadstools get smaller as they go backward. So this is the foreground. So we have a big mushroom, and it's closest to us, so it looks biggest. This one's in the midground, so it's a little bit smaller. And then this one's farther away, so that means it's the smallest. So when you're drawing your items in your scene, anything that's close to you is going to be biggest, right? If you look out your window and you see a car that's right next to you, the car is going to look really big. But if you look far away at a car, it's going to look really small, right? So when we do art, we want to do our art the same way. So we're going to draw our horizon line first, and that's the line that separates the ground from the sky. And you can draw it wherever you want. I'm going to draw it up here so I have lots of room for my toadstools, and I'm just going to draw a zigzag line for the grass. It's going to come through her, out the other side. So that is where my sky is, and there's my ground. So any of my toadstools are not going to be floating in the sky, right? They're going to be down here. So I'm going to make her stand on a giant toadstool. And I'm going to come somewhere up on her dress, and I'm going to draw a curved line going down. On the other side of her, I would draw my line right there coming down, but her wing's in the way. So I'm going to use my finger to show me where it would come out and finish my line. So she's on this big toadstool. I'm going to give it a smile line. And then I'm going to draw my 2 lines for the bottom of my toadstool. Now toadstools have these big spots. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my spots. And that's the one that's closest to me that she's standing on. I want to draw a couple more toadstools, a medium one and a small one in the back. So my medium one I'm going to start, and I want the line to be a little bit smaller than this. So I'm going to see this size, that's about this big, right? If I move it here, that'd be big. So let's make it a little bit smaller. So I'm going to make it about that big. So I'm going to do my rainbow line. I'm going to do my smile line. And I'm going to do my lines for that mushroom stem. And I'm just going to connect it. I'll go ahead and give my toadstool those special white dots. So do you see how it's getting a little bit smaller? So if I want to add another mushroom back here, it has to be even smaller than this one. So this one's this size. I want it to be even smaller. So when I draw my rainbow line, smaller, and my smile line, my 2 lines for the stem, and there's my dots. So now it looks like these are getting farther away. So I have my fairy, I have my toadstools. I can decide what I want in the background. It's kind of fun to do a beautiful rainbow, and a rainbow kind of fits here. So I think I'm going to draw a nice rainbow coming in this corner here. I have my red, orange, yellow. Make sure I have enough stripes. There's green. There's blue, and there's my purple. And the very last thing that I'm going to do once I'm done decorating my scene, I'm just going to leave that rainbow there, is my fairy looks a little plain. Don't you think she needs some decorations for her wings and her dress? And you can decide what kind of wings and dress. So for this one, I did stripes and circles. I put some flowers on her dress. So you can choose, and you can also add some lines to her hair. So you can use your marker to make it look like it's more wavy. And what kind of dress do you think we should give her? Maybe we could make her dress have some stripes like this. And you might choose something totally different. Some kind of fun pattern to it. And we could even put a flower inside here. If she's a flower fairy, maybe she's a different kind of fairy. I'm going to give her a sleeve to her dress by giving a little rainbow line. And then I'm going to figure out what kind of wings do I want her to have. Gosh, there's so many different kinds. I think I might choose to give it a stripe at the top, just like I did in my last fairy, because I thought that was really pretty. But maybe this raindrop look. And you might want to look at some pictures of some butterflies to get some ideas for yours. Let's see, maybe I'll give a teardrop going this way. And maybe another one here. And then some circles. And this one would have to think about this. You'd probably just see the point of it sticking out. And maybe you'd see one of these circles. Now I have this bottom part of the wing too, right? So maybe I'll add some circles here for my wing. And don't forget about the bottom part of that wing. And there you have it. Beautiful fairy. She's on a toadstool, and you can get out your crayons. Now, I always like to start with a skin color first, so you can pick whatever skin color you feel like it. I have this beautiful burnt sienna that I'm going to use today. Color in her face and her neck, and then depending on if you did the sleeve, don't forget to get her arm and where she's holding that wand. And also you get to decide, is she wearing socks or does she have bare feet? I'm pretty sure my fairy has bare feet. And then you can choose a beautiful color of hair, and you know, you don't even have to choose a regular hair color for your fairy. Your fairy might have purple hair. I have this really rich dark brown that I really love, so I'm gonna give her this dark brown hair. It's almost the color of chocolate, and I kind of like chocolate. Okay, so I've done her hair, and now I can figure out how do I want the rest of my scene to look. Do I want these to be your regular toadstools? I don't know. Maybe I'll start with the grass as I'm thinking about it. And I'm using neon crayons. Do you see how bright they are? So you can use whatever you have. You might even have markers or watercolors at home to use. But I thought that these neon crayons were a little bit of fun. Make everything super bright. And sometimes as I'm deciding what color I want my fairy to be or these details, I do the sky or the grass first, because as I'm coloring these big things, and you see I'm going to turn my paper too. This is a lot of grass. A lot of grass to cover here. And then I might know what color I want my fairy and these toadstools to be by the time I'm done coloring. And I think I'm coloring a little sloppy today, kids, because I'm really kind of excited to be able to color my actual fairy. I bet you feel like that sometimes too. So maybe later I'll go back and I'll make this look a little bit better. So, and I have my green out, so I might as well color my rainbow, right? I have red, orange, yellow, green. So I'm gonna put that same green right here. Wouldn't that be pretty to see a neon rainbow in the sky? Okay, so I'm gonna get out my blue next, one of my blues. Might as well color the sky while I'm at it. And then it'll be really fun to do the details. And I know I won't run out of energy to be able to do those details, because once I'm done with the details, I'll be done and I won't have to go back in and color the sky. Okay, and I'm going to choose the same blue. I'm going to press a little bit harder to get a darker color for my neon rainbow. There we are. Okay, I'm going to go in and start on my toadstools. I think I'm going to pick this neon red. Oh, this one has glitter in it. So toadstools, these particular toadstools are called fly agarics. And typically they are red with white spots. But fly agarics, you also might see an orange and yellow. So that's not uncommon. But fly agarics you usually see in the woods. And when you see them, people used to think that they were associated with fairies. In fact, some people still think that today. So you see them and they're known as those toadstools. And they usually have these white spots, although if you decide to color in your white spots with something else, I don't blame you. Got my toadstools, and since I have this color, I might want to put it somewhere else in my picture too. So I'm going to choose this middle teardrop, and that helps my composition. What that means is if I have a color in one spot, I might want that color to appear somewhere else in my picture, because when I look at it, it looks a little bit prettier. So I'm going to use the same neon red for some of these stripes of her wings. Maybe I should make it go through her dress too. See, sometimes I don't know either. And I'm deciding as I color what I want it to look like myself. Okay, now I chose this beautiful red color, this neon red, for her dress. So I want to choose a color that is a little bit different for the rest of her dress. So I might choose something, let's see, maybe I should choose a bright neon yellow. What do you think? This yellow is really super bright. Isn't that pretty? So she is definitely a bright colored fairy. You would be able to spot her. Now I'm going to take my crayon and make that yellow too. And I'm going to add some lines to make it look like there's some magic coming out of that wand. And then I'm going to use my yellow up here to color in my yellow portion of the rainbow. And I should have done the red while I had it out, shouldn't I? So I'm going to get that back. Let's see, orange, red. Uh-oh, do you see what I did? I forgot a piece of the sky over here. So I'm going to come back here and add that sky. Okay, so I wonder what else I'm going to use. I'm going to use maybe a different color of pink. Maybe the details on her wings will be these bright fire colors or warm colors. And then I will use that same yellow for these dots on her wings. Now I need a color that's very different for her wings. So I'm going to pick something, it can't be a warm color, something completely different. What should I use? Goodness, maybe I should use a blue or maybe a green. So I have, but the green is the grass, so I want it to look very different. So, or I could choose orange, maybe a bright orange. Now that would not, if I use orange here, these fire colors, will they stick out? Oh, and they do. So I want those details to show up. So she's got all these fiery colors to her wings. So she's really going to show up against the grass and the sky, because orange is an opposite color of that blue. And then I'm probably going to use this orange for the flower petals. Oh, she's looking beautiful. Come back up here and get this orange in my rainbow. And then I'm only missing that one color, and that's that purple. So let's find a purple. And finish that rainbow. And we finished our fairy picture. So super simple drawing of a fairy and toadstools, and you might have chosen to do all sorts of different things to your background. Another thing you can do with the grass is you can go back in. Oh, that's too light of a green, and I don't think I have a darker, oh, there's a darker green. You might choose to add some texture to the grass. Make it look like your toadstool's growing in the grass. So these are all things you can go and do afterwards when you're done with your picture to make it look even better. So now we have some texture, and I know if I touch this I won't feel the grass, but it looks like there's the grass. Doesn't that look a little bit better? So hopefully you enjoyed this fairy drawing, and I will see you guys back next week. Bye!